A monumental change is happening economically around the globe, and those who aren't preparing will be the ones who suffer immensely from it. These individuals will form the new social economic class called the perpetually poor. It's very simple, really. The governments of the Western world are essentially bankrupt, deeply indebted, and have foolishly promised retirees anything they want in exchange for votes. Now these liabilities have brought entire nations to the brink of collapse. The Japanese public debt exceeded 1 quadrillion yen, that's $10.46 trillion in 2013, more than twice their GDP. In Europe, France is sitting on $2.3 trillion of debt, and Britain has exited the euro due to their debt mess. The US has $20 trillion of debt today, and $103 trillion in future obligations. This is happening during a time of breakthrough technological advancements in medicine and biotech, which are making it possible for people to live longer, fuller, and healthier lives. Retirement plans were designed by governments in times when people lived to the age of 63, but humans have now begun to hit 100-year-old in droves. Mega changes in demographics are occurring worldwide that are now making their presence felt and will continue to do so in the immediate future. These demographic trends will impact our lives and our children's lives. There is no doubt in the world that we are on the verge of massive progress, but like all tectonic changes in human history, there will be life-altering ramifications for those who can't or won't adapt to new realities. The effect of this is already being shown in Spain, Greece, and Italy, which are all in dire shape. While the Western world is getting older, like Japan, which is seeing its population peak today at around 126 million people, but will be at less than 100 million by 2050. In Germany, by the year 2030, people over 65 will account for almost 50% of the adult population, and the number of workers will fall by 25%. And the US, which in 1950 had 7 workers per retiree, will see this ratio drop to 2.6 workers per retiree by 2030, seeing its workforce contract and tax burdens on the young increase dramatically. In contrast, the populations of China, India, and Indonesia are relatively young, and their middle class will grow richer, while the young people of the Western world will be buried under mountains of debt and taxes. By 2030, China and India are projected to have 1.5 billion people each, compared with the US's 400 million. These are epic events that all people, East and West, must understand, prepare for, and position financially to profit from. There is absolutely no mathematical formula by which Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security in the US and their counterparts in Europe, Canada, or Japan can be financed by falling tax revenues. Alternative courses of action are already on the table. Some are calling for the postponement of the retirement age to 72 or 75 years old. Others are suggesting higher tax rates, while others are calling for the cutting of benefits altogether. No matter which course of action is applied, these are all a drop in the ocean in terms of savings compared to the accumulated debts of governments. They don't even come close to solving the problem. The perpetually poor will be those who are glued to their TV sets, refusing to adapt, preferring to put blindfolds on, and act like business as usual, trusting that their government would finance their long-awaited retirements. The young can also end up poor by becoming victims to the system in their own country, instead of taking action wisely to unchain themselves from the debt cycle. The perpetually poor will be joined by some of today's dwindling middle class, because the real problem facing all savers and investors, especially those relying on fixed income assets, is zero interest rates and negative rates. Pension funds, which are under enormous pressure to produce results, are scratching their heads as bond yields have totally collapsed. Not one person in a million could finance a comfortable retirement with the current savings rates and interest in the Western world. Retirees who have always relied upon fixed income assets are speechless as they watch their hard-earned nest eggs not produce a single dime in interest. And insurance companies who allow our world to function properly by insuring risks are fearfully guarding their funds, as managements are terrified of not meeting obligations to policyholders. We are living through the dreaded age wave the top investors and world-renowned economists have been warning about for decades, and no one is sure how this will all play out. What is certain is that you can't afford to bury your head in the sand. Assuming personal responsibility and taking massive action is the only way to avoid being added to the perpetually poor, who won't have jobs, income, or assets as this age wave shifts the power structure of world finance in the next few years. With life expectancy for newborns now exceeding 100, the old dream of retirement has now officially become a nightmare. As governments have only one way to meet obligations: inflate the currency supply until all benefits are paid for with worthless paper notes. The possibility of a global inflationary depression is very likely, and this current monetary system could actually reset in the next few years, dragging us all into a nightmarish economic environment. Wealth Research Group has become an expert on the age wave after thousands of hours of research into this subject, and we have divided the solution into 3 separate age groups. People ages 20 to 35 should know the top desired industries to focus on and build careers in, which countries will give them the best opportunity for employment, and how to structure their portfolio accordingly and reduce tax burdens by employing advanced strategies. Those between the ages of 35 to 55 should learn how to allocate their savings and purchase assets that will lead to large sums of passive income every single month. Those who are 55 and above and approaching retirement or are now in retirement should learn how to develop side income streams, how to allocate funds to generate yields far in excess of what conventional bonds produce, and learn about the best places to retire at. No matter which group you belong to, it is imperative that you learn the art of smart speculating so that you can potentially make fortunes with mining shares that keep exploding higher as these high metals prices and low oil prices are benefiting their bottom lines and giving shareholders once-in-a-lifetime opportunities. That's why we put together an exclusive comprehensive special report for each age group so that every person can start implementing their financial fortress retirement plan geared for their situation. Download Fortressing, building your own economy for retirement now at wealthresearchgroup.com/fortressing20, /fortressing35, and /fortressing55. That's wealthresearchgroup.com/fortressing20, 35, and 55, and prosper through the age wave. Retirement as we know it is a hoax. You can educate yourself now and take action, or it's game over for you.